Hi, Mariana and Vladimir. Thank you for coming today. It's been almost a year since we launched the new RVmagnetics. I'm curious what's shifted for the company and for you personally. Today, I'm here with Vladimir, Vice Chairman, and Mariana, Marketing Director.
Hello.
Before
Hi.
before we start, yeah, hi. Before we start, please, Vladimir, shortly describe your company.
Yep. RVmagnetics is an SME company based out of Košice, Slovakia, with its own proprietary and patented sensing technology. Today, after 10 years of our existence, we mostly serve aviation, defense, space, and also automotive markets, dominantly Fortune 500 companies. We're deeply rooted in science and research and development. Therefore, out of 40 people in the company, 35 are scientists and engineers, one professor, three assistant professors, 15 PhDs. And as I said, we're serving global markets, so our clientele is basically anywhere but in our homeland.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's continue. And for quick context for viewers, I will just add that we did the full scope, brand strategy, visual identity, website, technology demo kit, and even office interiors with partnering architect. We finished early 2025 and launched in June. Vladimir, I think you remember very well our first meeting in summer of 2024 at Vila Zontag in High Tatras.
Yes, I do.
What was happening at the time in your business that made you realize something had to change?
Yeah, well, we were battling with brand identity that was in many ways invisible, had some issues in our own visibility given the color palette with the very, very thin typography used. So we were literally invisible. And most of all, the whole brand communications was outdated. And last but not least, we had also a set of legal issues that were preventing us from registering the marks. So we were finding ourselves in a very weak spot, and we needed to basically define what we expect from the new identity and slowly but surely commence the change. And also from sales and marketing perspective, when company, as I said in the very beginning, was at that point already in a 10th year of its existence. So during these 10 years, we started communicating on daily basis with global audiences. We needed to be vocal about the new headquarters. And also, we at that point also launched a new company, a sister company in Czech Republic called RV Actuators. So we needed a broader platform to be sufficient for the family of brands that are distinct but still recognizable, that they belong together. So these are all the reasons we basically needed to consult with professionals and guide us from A to B. Here we are today.
Yeah, it was really adventure, whole process, the road we went through. And I have one personal question for you, Vladimir. Who were you before our collaboration, and then who did you have to become after we launched the new brand identity? What was your process of change?
For me personally, I considered always myself to be active in the business development and sales dominantly. So one part of the story was to extend my personality to more marketing and branding and embrace all of these new things that were coming my direction. That's obviously for starters. And yes, I would say that at the very beginning there was a feeling that when you start to think about and more things you start realizing, but the very, very initial feeling was that the capabilities of the company were evolving much faster than our initial brand would support. And from this realization, from the talks I had with yourself and also with Mariana, who wasn't part of the company back then, just opened many horizons to me when we started shaping the whole idea of not only that we need it, but also defining how and what is necessary to support the company, to support the message, to basically present us in way more professional manner. It's a story of small company based in Košice that needed to be presented, and all our bright minds and exceptional scientists and engineers to be presented on very global scale and very professional. So this is what it required me to also grasp new horizons, consult with people, and yeah.
So you say that it was some eye-opening. There were some eye-opening moments for you during our collaboration when you saw yourself differently.
Absolutely, yes. It's one part of the story. So soon after we started talking, I realized is that it's also the brand itself is not only somewhat artistic discipline that you all of a sudden have some nicer backgrounds that you used to have, but it, if executed well and if thought of well, planned well, and finalized, then it's actually affecting the way how you think about the company. And the thing I remembered the most that kind of shifted, but initial thought was that I will be more confident when presenting, that people in the company would be working in the environment that is more encompassing and supportive, and it's also source of pride. But thing I haven't expected was that when I started working with the new visuals that were very neat, trustworthy, and many other adjectives, but I would go with the neat. So the visuals were very neat, clear. I started thinking of all the different presentations I'm delivering to have very neat messages, to because we're communicating with the people who have, for us, sometimes 20 seconds, sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes maybe 40, God knows. But your message has to be professional, has to be delivered in clear visuals, but you have to be vocal and streamline the message to be as impactful as it can be in a shortest amount of time to maximize the potential. And that's what happened with me, that I started thinking of clearer, shorter, more impactful messaging rather than have busy slides, right? And that's what was in a way very transformative inwards rather than having nice pictures outwards or outbound messaging. So yeah, that's something I witnessed and haven't expected in the first place.
Yeah, I've seen your post regarding the Munich conference you've been to last week, and all of this you are talking about. Is this something you experienced in that moment between before the senior defense audience at that conference?
Absolutely, yes. What you know is that the company you're representing and the people who helped build it, I always say with a big smile afterwards that there is a part of company that represents the brains, and I am on the part that is mouth. And but it's no less important job. For that particular moment, for these 4, 5, 6 minutes, you are the face associated with the company and with the message, and what you need to deliver is what you do, why it is important for somebody sitting there, and do that, as I said, with a clear supportive visuals and clear supportive message. So it's combination of all the elements, and one is more important than the other. So it's like if you have 10 people in plus the goalie in the football, and if each and single one of them is important to me. So it is a team play in a way in the components in any presentation, not only NATO, whether the audience is 5 people or 500. you still have a business potential sitting somewhere in the room, and you have to grasp it. You have to deliver. Maximizing the delivery is a journey, and visual and branding part of it is no less important than any other. What's important here to say that if you are technology company, research and development scientist with a strong scientific background, most of the time the emphasis is in the beauty of physics and engineering, and many times over these companies don't pay attention to the branding, especially in the NATO event in the Munich Security Conference last week. There was one particular person who stand by and started asking about like who've done your visual identity. He says like, you guys are standing out specifically in the defense sector. The defense sector is one of these traditional ones, very much on the engineering side of things, that don't really pay too much attention.
Yeah, that's true.
To the visual identity. Some of these companies has been stuck with their visual identity for decades and longer. And if somebody tells you like, you guys stand out, it means a lot, because that's your rubber stamp that you've done your homework well and you're maximizing the potential of anything you represent here. So full stop.
Thank you. All right. Just last question for this sequence. If you would have to stand here at that conference 2 years ago, what would have been different for you?
I would say that what would have been different is that we will have this invisible identity we were working with, and definitely we would have been presenting much busier slides. There's always tension between whether you want to write everything on the slide and let people read, or let people consume with eyes very laser focused, narrow message, and focus on what you are saying. Finding the right balance is definitely something we were working on 2 years ago, but we were not definitely in the place where we are right now.
And if you had to put a number on your confidence level between this last week presenting and 2 years ago presenting, how would you rate it?
Okay, I mean, definitely, I wouldn't put numbers, but my confidence was much higher. Where I was shaking in my knees was who I am addressing in the audience, because we were not basically presenting to such audience at a such senior level like we were right now. But yeah, that the confidence was much higher. Definitely, it's an evolution. And I, if I may say, my observation is that it transformed also the people who are coming into contact with our clients. They're learning every day. For people completing their PhD 2-3 years ago, and all of a sudden talking on weekly basis with people from Airbus or Schaeffler or different global teams, it boosts their confidence, and at the same time they are backed up with the visual identity that also is doing that part. So it's both matched up on the level of professionalism.
Thank you, Vladimir. I think now is the right time to move on and head up to the marketing communication. And for that particular question, I will ask you, Mariana, how do people react when they first encounter the brand now? What has changed?
From the very beginning, launching a new brand is a really exciting and rewarding experience for all the team. We received a great deal of positive and surprising feedback and comments like, it looks very strong, it looks very international, it feels like a global brand. And even there were some people who assumed that we have been acquired by a large global company. So we were surprised, but this is an evidence, and this confirmed that the new brand identity successfully elevated the perception of our company to a truly global level.
And I'm curious regarding that shift, what became easier to communicate to the audience in terms of services or the technology or products you provide?
Easier? Actually, we can work with a new brand in terms of brand messages and product messages. The new brand provides us a great platform for adapting all the messages we need to communicate. So the whole brand platform is really made for every type of communications we need. So corporate communications, internal communications, we can adapt it to the events and trade fairs and also to social media. So we can use this clear vision for everything what we need.
Yeah, that's a great foundation for your next work, and I'm glad to hear all of that feedback from you and from your daily routines. And I think of what's different about selling of RVmagnetics technology now versus before. What type of leads reaches out now that we don't have before, or what changed in these sections of the business?
One thing I would definitely say that, and I forgotten in the very beginning of our conversation, is that one of the also cornerstones why we needed to do the change in visual identity was also that we were positioned way too long as a startup. You go to different competitions, different acceleration programs, but all of a sudden you are in your 10th year of existence, you have these 40 people, you have international patents, you have Fortune 500 clients, you're validated through multiple different ways. And then you need to think for yourself, like, is this still a startup? This is not how we envisioned positioning ourselves. And we're more of a reliable professional R&D partner that needs to position as a still small, medium-sized enterprise. And I'm pretty sure that this message resonated throughout last year. We not only launched it, but we supported with a branding campaign. And also the leads that started coming our direction were more and more companies who are leaders in their particular industrial verticals. So more and more Fortune 500s, more and more complex conversations. So it definitely the whole combo opened more doors. And we've done the rebranding timing during the NATO Diana acceleration program, basically at the very end of phase 1 and just before starting the phase 2. So also that part played its role, that somebody that significant as NATO validates you, and at the same time you boosted by also the launch of a visual identity as such. So it opened many doors, and this validations kind of streamlined with our rebranding. And I guess the overall feeling I have is that 1 + 1 = 3 after all. So maybe we didn't get that many leads as the year before or 2 years before, which has its reasons in the Google and AI, and there's other reasoning behind that. But the maybe 10-20% less came in that it used to, but the quality and seniority and the size of the companies definitely improved. So of course, but my message is that visual identity is not the sole reason for that. It's one of the elements, it's one of the jigsaw puzzles that played its very vital role in the everything we were doing last year.
Yeah, the timing of the campaign last year when you launched the brand, it was perfect. I remember that your exciting faces with getting new lead and such amount of leads that usually are no there in the time of beginning of the summer. That was kind of extraordinary for you, I guess.
We were premiering in three places at once. It was NATO Diana final event in London, which is an extraordinary thing. You don't get to attend every day. B, it was at Globsec event in Prague, and a third one, coincidentally, our colleague was presenting also to team of Saab, one of the largest defense companies in Sweden, or basically in Europe as such. I was delivering technical presentations, so we premiered at three events in Sweden, London, and Prague, basically at the same time, which was also, as you said, extraordinary. Yes, it was.
To slowly sum it up, Vladimir and Mariana, or Mariana, yeah, that's, I think, better question for you than for Vladimir. He said a lot. What would you say to someone who keeps postponing all of this process of this collaboration that we did together?
Well, we are an industrial technology company, and maybe you noticed that in this sector, many companies usually tend to underestimate the importance of brand, and they focus almost exclusively on the technical side of their job, on technical advancements. However, we all at RVmagnetics, we strongly recommend paying equal attention to the soft power of branding, not only because I am a marketing person, because we see that the potential of strong brand can influence all the processes within the company, not only marketing campaigns and not only sales. We all know that this decision about rebranding, this is a hard decision. This is a difficult decision. And building a brand in many ways, in everything what is necessary to do, is very similar to developing an advanced technology, because it needs a lot of time. It requires a professional approach, expertise, the people who know what they're doing, a very detailed view of all processes, as attention to all details, and of course the consistency and long-term commitment of a whole company, not only the marketing and sales people. And postponing this process often means missing valuable opportunities, and the whole process can take a lot of months, even though a year, or in some companies it takes 1 or 2 years, to be honest. And the launching of the new brand is a complicated process within the company. So if the companies if they start to think to rebrand, it can take a long time to realize it. We recommend to all companies to start as soon as possible, because only the internal discussions and the internal decisions are quite complicated before involving an external agency or advertising agency. So start as soon as possible.
So do you think that you just precisely hit the correct window of opportunity at that time of running the company?
Definitely, yes. Not only because we celebrated the 10th year's anniversary, but from the point of view, so when we finished the first phase of NATO Defense Accelerator, So that was the optimal time for the company.
Perfect. I'm happy for that. Yeah, I think, yeah, Mariana, Vladimir, thank you very much for this conversation. A year ago, this was just a work in progress vision, and now it's who you are. Thanks for your trust and letting us be part of your journey. I wish you all the best for your work in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the cooperation.
Thank you.